So there are going to be different approaches to modeling, and people are going to have their own different ways. So I just want to preface that by telling you that when you look at someone's tutorial, some people like different portions of sculpting. Some people like to pull geometry and inflate. And some people like to build things with shapes. Some people like to start out in edit mode and build out simple shapes and put them together and join them and then sculpt. I do prefer simple shapes. But I want to go over, I guess, a few things that should help you out if you are going to sculpt. And this is some of the basic things. So I was having some problems, as you guys may know, with Blender, and so I just had to uninstall it and reinstall it. It's not the only inconvenience is you just gotta bring the interface back to, well, actually it didn't all the way uninstall. So I have an app called Revo Uninstaller, R-E-V-O, Revo Installer or Revo Uninstaller. And it's a paid piece of software, and I forget, it's like, I don't know how much it is a year. It's Revo Uninstaller. Just look it up if you're interested. And it installed things for me because I don't like dealing with a lot of technical stuff. I just don't. So, and it repaired it and everything seemed to be okay. I did have a sculpting model that I was working on that did not seem to have any materials, because I still look at people's sculpting tutorials to see how they get to certain things. Am I missing out on something? I think I explained that before. And the model, well, for whatever reason, it was showing up gleaming white, as I think it was some of the other models were showing that in the video. And when I would bring up a primitive, it wouldn't have what's called the BSDF material on it when I would bring up a new material. So if you go under shading, well, like this, it's not supposed to. Sometimes you don't have materials, I get that. But, so let me show you. So if I do Blender again, so right here, if I go to shading, I got this default node, but I was noticing that when I add, there's no material. So you're gonna have to add materials to certain things, and if things are starting to show up. And also the default to this, the base color seems to be white. I don't know why my default is like up that bright, but whatever. So let's not do that. We are in object mode, and what I want to do is I want to put a subdivision modifier on here. If you want to hit Control 1, well, first you gotta select it, and then hit Control on 1, not number pad 1, but just Control 1. It's going to give you your first subdivision, and you can go up here and you can bring it up to a few different levels. And so let's say we bring it up to a level of 3. Now, with this level right here, the other thing that I want to make sure of, because sometimes you'll do this and you'll want to turn this to the front, but if you go to 1, then that puts this in the front, but it doesn't give it any perspective, so you want to turn the perspective back on. Okay, then you can go into sculpt mode. Now, I hotkeyed it because I didn't want to keep selecting. Now, if you have the pie menu enabled, you can hit Control Tab. I don't know why it's doing that. It was doing it a second ago. So if I go, let me go back to object mode. So Control Tab. Oh. Control, you gotta select something first. I'm sorry. You gotta select something first, and then you can do sculpt, weight paint, edit modes. So we can go to sculpt mode. All right. I was like, what? What's going on? All right. So another thing that that seems to be kind of important is, where's it at? View. So if you go to view, if you press your N key, the letter N, focal length, I don't know what the default is, but I set mine at 50 millimeters. That seems to be about what everybody sculpts in. Otherwise, you might get some deformations when you start to sculpt. And so we have our cube, and I don't want to default. I'm gonna bring up the layers, the levels, or whatever. Let's go back and let's just apply this because I want to show you why. So I want to go to apply, and this is our geometry. So we got to hit apply. When we start to sculpt, and the reason why I had you set this with the number pad is because right up here, this little butterfly looking icon, right next to it, you want to be on X. And it gives you, it's going to give you your symmetry, your symmetry, which is your X and Y symmetry. And that's the most common thing that you'll sculpt with. Yes, you can also add Y and Z, but for the most part, you're going to be sculpting on one side to the other, working just like a mirror modifier. So that's pretty important. For me personally, once you have all of this set up, then your first brush that you want to look to is a move brush. Now over here in it's a grab brush over here. And the thing is, the other thing I want you to set up is pull this out so you can physically see, you can read everything, because it makes everything a lot easier. I'm going to go over the brushes that I use. I use Draw Sharp, Clay Strips. I don't really do clay or clay thumb. I do clay strips, so that's 3. Inflate, that's 4. And smooth you can do by hitting shift. You hit your shift key and you can smooth. When you're in a brush, you can smooth. And then I use grab. Later on I might use a snake hook or scrape. But that's about it. That's what I sculpt with. These are the equivalent to the same brushes that I use in ZBrush. All the rest of these brushes right here, they're cool. Oh, the other thing that I also use is there's another move, rotate, and scale, but there's also a mask button, and mask buttons. Now you're going to have to get into a little bit of the hotkeys. So just to let you know, mask button is easy. You just hit the letter M. I'll take you through a few exercises, but this is the initial setup. The strength is at about 50%. You may want to move that down to 40. If you are working with the stylus, depends on how heavy-handed you are. So just take a look at this. The other reason, going back to it, is sometimes you are going this way and you might start pulling, and then all of a sudden, like I have done before, when you go to 1 to check everything, to make everything a lot easier for you, then you will find out that you were not, your model is facing the back, and then you got to select the model and turn it all the way around. So this is your sculpting right here. You can get rid of, you can uncheck all this, but I kind of like having these overlays here. Let me see. I like having this here, but you can take off the grid if you want. You can take off all of the axes if you want, but I like to leave those on because they help me out. And over here you can also still do your stuff like checking your face orientation, etc. So again, we always want to make sure our X is to the back. And that's our initial setup. And one last thing before you go. If you're working with a stylus, it does help when you are sculpting. And this doesn't really alter. Go to preferences, go to navigation, and wait, it's not navigation. Well, navigation, you can use turntable or trackball. That's up to you. But it is input. That's what it is. Check emulate 3-button mouse. Because, so go ahead and just check that. If you're looking for a tab, it's not gonna mess too much things up as far as I can tell. So that's your setup. And now I'm gonna go to, we're gonna use the move brush, and we're gonna do a little exercise in the next one. So I will see you in the next video.